So remember we were saying what happened in Akshay Vat? So while Krishna, Balaram, and their dear friends were engaged in playing various games here at Akshay Vat, the cows being unobserved because the boys, they got so busy in playing, the cows began to wander off on their own, and they entered farther and farther into the deepest part of the forest. They were allured by the fresh grass in this wonderful forest near Akshay Vat, and they kept going farther and farther, and they traveled from one forest to the other, and this forest was so full of green grass. Therefore these cows, they were allured, but when they entered, they saw, what did they see? That there was a big, big forest fire all around them. And seeing this forest fire, they just helplessly, they started mooing and they just started crying. And on the other side, Balaramji and Krishna, along with all their cowherd friends, they could not find their animals and they became very much disturbed. Where did they go? Where did they go? And they started seeing that there's some red fiery thing that is coming up, because when there's forest fire, it can be seen from such a great distance. So then they began to follow, they began to trace the cows by following the footprints as well as the path that was eaten, of the eaten grass that the cows had eaten. So they started following that and they came to where the cows were. And all the boys, they were, really concerned that our cows are stuck in the forest fire. What do we do? What do we do? So then Krishna, he started calling out the names of the cows. And then as soon as the cows, they heard their names being called, even the cows started doing moo, 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 and calling out to Krishna. And then Krishna just came running to them. But by this time, when Krishna came, the forest fire had just surrounded the cows from all sides. And when this situation was there, everyone became so fearful because the flames increased. And because, the forest fire spreads very rapidly. And with the flowing of the wind, it appeared that everything was getting devoured by this forest fire. And all the cows and even the cowherd boys, they became very frightened, and they all looked towards Krishna and Balaram the way that a dying man would actually look at the picture of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And they said, "Oh, dear Krishna, you and Balaram are very, very powerful. We are now burning from the heat of this blazing fire. Please allow us to take shelter at your lotus feet. We know that only you can protect us from this great danger. Our dear friend Krishna, we are your intimate friends. You should not let us suffer in this way, Krishna. We are just dependent on you. And we do not know anyone other than you. Please help us, O Krishna."
So the personality of Godhead, he heard the appealing voices of his friends and he cast a pleasing glance over them. Very calm and cool, that kind of pacified the Vrajbasis and the cows and the calves. And he began to answer, speaking through his eyes. He impressed upon his friends there was no cause of fear. And through his eyes, he assured them as if speaking, don't worry. And he indicated, close your eyes.
Haribo.
Now imagine if we were in this situation where there's fire all over us, all around us, and someone comes and says, close your eyes. It's so difficult to close our eyes. Any time, anything can happen, any tree can fall, any branch can fall on us. But the Vrajbasis and the cows and the calves, they displayed this immense faith and surrender to Krishna against all odds, against what their mind must be telling them. The Vrajbasis closed their eyes. And then Krishna, the supreme mystic, the powerful personality of Godhead, he immediately, he just swallowed up all the flames of the fire. And the cows and boys, they were saved from imminent danger. And out of fear, these boys, they were almost unconscious. And even then, they followed Krishna's instructions. No one argued with Krishna. Krishna, what do you mean, close my eyes? There's all these things going on. But when they regained their consciousness and opened their eyes, they saw that they were in front of the Akshay Vatika with Krishna, Balaram, and the cows. They were so astonished to see that they were completely free from the attack of the blazing fire, and the cows were saved.
And thus they continued their fantastic picnic under the shade, the cooling shade of Sri Akshay Vatika.
And so this is a story of surrender and faith, which tells us that Krishna can do anything. Krishna will reciprocate with our faith. If we surrender to him with following his instructions, then Krishna will reciprocate with that surrender.
Hari Hari Bol.